The RCMP has drafted a new code of conduct for its members. The force was ordered to do so after whistleblowers told The National about alleged sexual and mental harassment within the force. The draft has not been made public, but tonight CBC News has obtained a copy. It does address harassment, but also raises serious questions about whether it could discourage whistleblowers from speaking out in the future. The CBC's Alison Crawford has the details.
Members of the RCMP enforce the criminal code, but there's another code that guides their own behavior, and it's about to change. CBC News has obtained a draft copy of the document, and for the first time, it addresses harassment. Members treat the public and colleagues with respect and courtesy and do not engage in acts of discrimination or harassment. Over the last 2 years, dozens of former and current Mounties have come forward, alleging they'd been bullied or sexually harassed on the job. This retired Mountie says the new code is a long time coming.
It identifies how members shall treat other members and members of the public. So we have a situation where it specifically talks about abuse of authority and those type of issues.
While Creaser welcomes that aspect of the new code, he's none too pleased Mounties are still restricted from criticizing the force. Members avoid making public statements that could reasonably be interpreted as having an adverse effect upon the morale, conduct, operation, or perception of the force. With subjective terms like morale and public perception, this professor says RCMP management is giving itself a lot of room to discipline someone for speaking out.
People don't speak out. How would we have found out about the harassment issue? We wouldn't be changing the code of conduct.
I think there'll be a fair amount of debate in relation to our ability to speak openly about our life within the RCMP.
Some are questioning if the new regulation could deter whistleblowers altogether, but the RCMP says federal legislation already protects whistleblowers.
RCMP members are no different than any other public servants. They're still bound by loyalty to the organization. The courts have been very clear that if you're an employee, you cannot go out with impunity and say things about the government or your employer unless it falls into a number of categories.
For the first time, the RCMP's new code of conduct covers the use of force, a topic that has received a lot of public criticism. It says Mounties will use force when it's necessary, proportionate, and reasonable. Peter?
All right, Alison, thank you. Alison Crawford in Ottawa tonight.